What kind of led up to the maybe the specific kind of insight or reason around the pivot to NuBrakes where you are today?
Yeah, so we actually were working on the car wash for about 2.5 years prior to launching NuBrakes, which is a mobile auto repair platform with an initial focus on brake repair, as our name suggests. But what ultimately led to that pivot was the following. One is we were really cutting our teeth on this car wash model. We were grinding it out. It was tough, challenging. And as we continued to do that, what became increasingly clear to me was I'm not sure that this is a scalable model, or at least the way that we're doing it. I'm not sure if it's a scalable model. We were also walking a fine line between 1099s and W-2s. And, certainly I think like if the state of California, for example, wanted to put a microscope to us, we probably wouldn't have passed their test. So that was another point of concern to me. And we also were running out of money. So we were running out of money, yet the vision was always to build a marketplace for all things mobile car care, where the idea was that the car wash was going to be this high frequency, low friction product that would enable us to build a large customer base and then come to sell them a variety of adjacent services. And so as we were, grinding it out and running out of money and realizing that I'm not sure that what we're doing right now is particularly scalable, we've got to do something differently. And so we started thinking about what other services could we layer on to the business that would really improve the economics of the business. And we started evaluating these different services, and I started talking to different like auto shops and other different players in the space, and we ended up honing in on launching a mobile brake repair business because the economics of that business were just far friendlier. I remember the simple math to me at the time. We were selling our average car wash was $39 and an average brake repair was like $390. And I remember going, wow, for 10% of the work, we can do the same amount in revenue at the equivalent actual profit margin as well on a percentage basis. So that was pretty mind blowing to me. And parallel to that, I was going, okay, this is actually much more scalable. It's 10% the work for the same amount of revenue. Also, the economics are strong enough to support a W-2 model as opposed to a 1099 model. And so the way that we actually got started with NuBrakes was we were a team of 5 at the time. And my whole team was focusing on NuWash. We needed to try out this new thing. We needed to MVP it. And so I told 3.5 of those guys, y'all continue doing exactly what we're doing. Let's continue focusing on, building, executing NuWash, because we can't afford to not have that business. In parallel, me and another half of you are going to go and try and MVP this new concept. Within about 3 months, we were at about $500,000 in revenue run rate, which was like 60% of what the car wash was doing in 2.5 years. And so at that point, it was just quite clear to me that this is a much stronger model, better economics, higher growth trajectory, and more scalable. And so ultimately, we kind of transitioned our focus.
Yeah, no, thanks for walking us through that. So that's really interesting. So you did mention a few things about, brakes as a category specifically, such as like the AOV. So is that something you actually kind of like evaluated like during the pivot as far as like, hey, here's some potential kind of categories, and we're actually going to, look at it from you kind of unit economics and from that lens? Or
Yeah, that was precisely one of the big criteria that we were looking at was what is the economic profile of this transaction? And is it profitable? And then, secondly is like, are customers inclined to come back and buy this again from us, which actually that's a big, knock on our business is a low frequency. So we can talk about that challenge as well. But so the the margin profile of it was definitely one. Another one was, just a simple proxy for demand was we went and looked at search volume on Google. And we looked at search volume across a variety of different service types, and brake repair had a lot of search volume and it was a really healthy margin. Oil changes has a lot of search volume too, no margin, right? And so just as a comparison, and so brake repair increasingly became an intriguing opportunity. The other thing that we really liked about brake repair was we knew that we could consistently deliver a really high quality experience. Like, it's, as a service itself, it's pretty cookie cutter. We know it's going to take about an hour. We know, what like supplies will be needed in advance of that. And lastly, the pre-existing customer experience is so bad that we are very easily a magical experience in the eyes of the customer.